Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic. Today we're looking at the budget $60 Gissa Glorious Resurrector deck tech that myself and Meme Master Steve have put together. From the upcoming Innistrad Midnight Hunt set, Gissa is a 4/4 human wizard that says if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put all those creatures exiled with Gissa onto the battlefield under your control, but with that new Decayed mechanic. This deck is all about causing chaos, filling it with those creatures that will kill your opponent's creatures, dozens of those standard kill spells to kill some more creatures that will hopefully get all of your opponent's big creatures to your side of the field to swing in for the win. Now, let's get right into the deck tech. As always with the deck techs, we're starting with the ramp, and first up is two staple commander ramp creatures in Burnished Heart to sack and get 2 basic lands, and Solemn Simulacrum to not only fetch you a basic land, but also draw you a card when it dies. We also have more rampy creatures, this time in Leaden Mere and Paladin Mere. There is also a Bubbling Muck, a 1-drop black sorcery that produces you an extra black mana until the end of turn, and another commander staple in Dark Ritual to get you some early game extra mana. Next up we have some 2-drop rampy artifact cards in Arcane Signet and Charcoal Diamond. We also have Commander Sphere to get you mana or to sack and draw you a card if you're in a tough spot, and Fellwire Stone because there's no such thing as too many 2-drop mana rocks. On to the last 3 cards in this rampy portion, we have Mind Stone to again give us mana or sack to draw a card, and Wayfarer's Bauble to sack and get a basic land onto the battlefield tapped. And finally, of course, as always, we have Sol Ring, because Sol Ring. Very quickly, before we get onto all of the removal loving creatures, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for all things MTG. It's free to do, it helps the channel grow as we aim towards 2,000 subscribers. For the next chunk of Gissa action, we have all of the removal loving creatures. First up we have Big Game Hunter that ETBs and destroys a creature with power 4 or greater, also having that Madness casting option, and Demon's Disciple that has that ETB trigger to make each player sack a creature or planeswalker. Having cards like this in the deck are so crucial because the more creatures on our opponent's side we're getting to die, with Gissa we're exiling them, instead then getting to use these creatures for ourselves on our next upkeep. From Ikoria we have Dirgebat with Flash and Flying that when it mutates we get to destroy target creature an opponent controls, and Fleshbag Marauder the ETBs, and again each player has to sack a creature. Next up is Gatekeeper of Malakir that if kicked, target player sacrifices a creature, and Magus of the Abyss that says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that opponent controls of their choice. What a card. Next up we have Merciless Executioner to ETB and make each player sacrifice a creature, and Murderous Rider with that Eldraine Adventure mechanic to destroy target creature and you lose 2 life. We have Plaguecrafter that ETBs and makes each player sack a creature, with those who can't having to discard a card, and Ravenous Chupacabra that ETBs and you destroy target creature an opponent controls. On to the final 5 we have Shriekmaw, an elemental with fear that when it ETBs you destroy target non-artifact non-black creature. This also has that lovely evoke ability to cast for the cheaper cost. There is also Slum Reaper that again ETBs and each opponent sacrifices a creature. You can really start to see the pattern here. There is Abysmal Gatekeeper that when it is put into the graveyard each player has to sack a creature, an Avatar of Woe. The beast of a card that you can tap to destroy target creature. Lastly, we have Ob Nixilis Reignited to -3 and destroy target creature. There is also that +1 option if you need to dig out some card draw. Next up we're looking at the instant and sorcery removal, of which there is a butt-ton. Starting with the sorceries, we have Barter in Blood to make each player sack 2 creatures, and Blood Chief's Thirst to destroy target creature with CMC 2 or less, or if you kick it, destroy a creature. We have Feed the Swarm to destroy target creature and you lose life equal to that creature's CMC, and Finale of Eternity to destroy 3 target creatures with toughness X or less, and if X is 10 or more, you return all creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. There is Hex to destroy 6 target creatures, and moving on to the instants, there is Cast Down to destroy target non-legendary creature. There is Devour in Shadow to destroy target creature and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness, and Drag to the Underworld to destroy target creature and it costs X less, where X is your devotion to black. I wonder in a mono black deck if we'll be able to cast that for cheaper.
Yeah, of course.
We have Hagra Mauling to destroy target creature, but also with that modal DFC option if we're needing the land. And we have Heartless Act to destroy target creature with no counters on it. There is Hero's Downfall to destroy target creature and Infernal Grasp to destroy target creature and you lose 2 life. We also have Liliana's Triumph to make each opponent sack a creature and Poison the Cup to destroy target creature, but also with that foretell mechanic that if you use, it allows you to scry one. In this deck there is also Price of Fame, that is another creature removal spell, but it costs 2 less if you control a legendary creature with that added Surveil mechanic. There is Sudden Edict, a split second instant to make your opponent sack a creature, and Varika's Libation to again make target opponent sack a creature. We also have Black Commander staple Tragic Slip with that Morbid mechanic to give a creature -13/-13 if another creature died this turn, and another 1-drop instant in Vendetta to destroy target non-black creature and you lose life equal to its toughness. On to the final 5, we have Victim of Night for some non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie removal, and Death Pits of Wrath, an enchantment that says whenever a creature is dealt damage, destroy it. We also have a Saga in Phyrexian Sculptors to make one of your creatures an artifact creature and then wipe the board on that next stage of the saga. With that final stage effectively Bojuka bogging every opponent's graveyard. Finally, we have some of the key bits in this deck, the one-sided board wipes with In Garruk's Wake and Plague Wind. If you can get these pulled off, not only do you keep all of your creatures, but you're getting all of your opponent's creatures with decay on your next upkeep. That's almost certainly the win right there. Before we go on to the lands, we're going to look at the card draw and the rest. We have Dread Presence that'll draw you a card and lose you a life whenever a swamp comes into play, and Harvester of Souls that will draw you a card whenever a non-token creature dies. There is Forever Young that can draw you a card, but also works as some tasty recursion, and Sign in Blood to draw you 2 cards and you lose 2 life. We also have Altar's Reap at the cost of sacking a creature to draw you 2 cards, and Foot Bottom Feast for some more card draw and recursion options. There is Village Rites, also like Altar's Reap, to sack a creature and draw you 2 cards, and Greed, that classic enchantment to spend 1 black mana, pay 2 life and draw a card. For some more recursion we have Reassembling Skeleton, perfect for some sacrificial fodder, and Sedgemoor Witch because we've got over 30 instants and sorceries combined, so we may as well create a load of green pests that will give us some life. Finally, we have Diabolic Tutor because it's so cheap to buy and you can search out any card in your deck. You love to see it. Of course, for the last section in this Gissa deck tech we have the lands. Starting off with 28 swamps. It is a budget deck tech after all, and some of those black lands do be expensive. There is also Blighted Fen to add 1 generic to your mana pool, but you can also sack it to make target opponents sacrifice a creature. Removal options everywhere. There is Cabal Pit with that threshold option to give target creature -2/-2, and Gaia Reach Sanitarium to make each player draw a card and discard a card. We have Ifnir Dreadlands that you can again sacrifice to give target creature -2/-2, and Mortuary Mire for some more recursion. For the last 2 we have Temple of the False Gods to get you 2 mana, and Witch's Coven for that final last bit of important recursion. Gisa is an incredible new card from Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and this deck looks so fun and so soul destroying for any opponent that I really do think I may have to head straight to Card Market and make this deck myself. There we have it, that is the deck tech. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for all things MTG. Check out our link tree in the description below for all of our social media and affiliate links, but for now I'm all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.